Thank you everybody for sitting quietly. It's lovely to see so many of you ready to learn. Waiting for a couple of people to be ready to learn. If you're ready to learn, put your hands on your ears and give them a flap. Very good. All right. Well, in science, the last few weeks, we have been learning about nocturnal animals, haven't we? Who can give me an example of what a nocturnal animal is? A wombat, good boy. A snake, some snakes are nocturnal animals. And an owl, wonderful. Yes, we have learned a lot about owls. Who can tell me some very interesting things that we have learned about owls? Yes, they have very, very good hearing, don't they? Very good hearing. Why do they need to have good hearing? That's right, so they can hear the scurry of the mice and the animals that they are trying to hunt for food. What's something else we know about owls? Very, very good eyes. They have lovely big eyes so they can see in the dark. And one more thing about them. When they fly, they're very, very silent, aren't they? If they do want to make a noise, what's the noise that they make? Ooh, ooh. Let's all be owls. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Very good. All right. Well, for our reading and writing lesson today, we're going to be reading a book about owls. It's called Owl Babies by Martin Waddell and Patrick Benson. But before we read the book, I'm going to teach you a few vocabulary words so that when you hear them in the book, you know what they mean. Okay, so I'm just going to put the book to the side while we first learn some new words. All right, the first word that we're going to see or hear in the book reading today is branch. Does anybody know what branch means? Very good. Branch means a part of a tree that sticks out or comes out of the trunk of a tree. So you might hang off a branch and swing off the branch. But if you're an owl, do you think a branch would be a good place to sit? Yes, I think so too. All right, the next word we're going to be listening for when I read the story is, whoops, I need a new pen, is woods. Does anybody know what the word woods mean? And I don't mean the wood that you may have seen builders use to build a house. I mean a place. Can anyone describe to me a place that's called the woods? Yes, very good. So the woods is a place with lots and lots of trees, and it's often very dark and mysterious with lots of animals inside. That's the woods. Okay, the next word we're going to learn is brave. Who can tell me what brave means? Very good. Being brave means that you are ready to face danger, that you have lots of courage. And I wonder if the little owls in our story today have to be brave. Let's wait and see. And the last word that we're going to learn today is swooped. Swooped. I wonder what that means. Swooped means a bird is usually the animal that swoops, although it could be perhaps a bat. But a bird swoops when they suddenly move quickly down to the ground and up again into the sky. And I think we're going to be hearing that word in the story today. So there are 4 words, and I want you to remember them because it's very important that we start to learn new words every week, even every day. Our 4 words today are branch, woods, brave, and swooped. Let's say them together. Branch, woods, brave, and swooped. When you hear those words, when I read the story, I want you to pretend to be an owl by flapping your ears, because owls have such good hearing. So when you hear one of these words, what are you going to do? And that's right, you're going to flap your ears. So I'll be looking out to see who's flapping their ears when I read the story and you come across these words. Okay, today we're going to read a story called Owl Babies by Martin Waddell. What can you see on the front cover of this book? Yes, some owl babies. How many owl babies do we see? 3 little owl babies. What do you think this story might be about? Any ideas? That's a good idea. Yes, have a look at their faces. Do you think these owl babies look happy or sad? Yes, they actually look a little bit scared, don't they? I wonder what they might be scared about. Does anybody have any ideas? Well, I think it has something to do with their mummy going away and them being left alone. Do you think this story will have a happy ending? Why do you think it will have a happy ending? Let's read the story together. Once there were 3 baby owls, Sarah, Percy, and Bill. They lived in a hole in the trunk of a tree with their owl mother. The hole had twigs and leaves and owl feathers in it. It was their house. Do you sleep on twigs and leaves and owl feathers? Would you like to sleep on that bed? I think the feathers sound pretty comfortable, but I'm not sure about the twigs. They might be a bit spiky, but I think owls like that very much. One night they woke up and their owl mother was gone. "Where's Mummy?" asked Sarah. "Oh my goodness," said Percy. "I want my mummy," said Bill. The baby owls thought. All owls think a lot. "I think she's gone hunting," said Sarah. "To get us our food," said Percy. "I want my mummy," said Bill. Where do you think Mummy Owl has gone? But their owl mother didn't come. The baby owls came out of their house and they sat on the tree and waited. A big branch for Sarah, a small branch for Percy, and an old bit of ivy for Bill. "She'll be back," said Sarah. Back soon, said Percy. I want my mummy, said Bill. I'm glad to see some of you are wagging your ears, flapping your ears, because you've noticed one of our vocabulary words. Which one did you hear? That's right. We heard the word branch, and here we have a lovely picture of a branch. A big branch for Sarah, a small branch for Percy, and poor old Bill just had to sit on a bit of ivy. Well done to those who picked up our vocabulary words. It was dark in the wood, and they had to be brave. Oh my goodness! There's lots of people who have heard some vocabulary words already in that first sentence. Actually, there's two, isn't there? Which ones did you hear? The wood and brave. Here we have two more. Woods and brave. Let's listen again in the sentence. It was dark in the wood, and they had to be brave, for things moved all around them. Remember, we said that the woods were a place with lots of trees. Does that picture show a picture of some woods? Yes, a place with lots of trees and a bit mysterious. Things were moving in the woods. And certainly those three little owls had to be brave, didn't they? Remember, who can tell me what brave means? That's right. Being courageous. Being able to face danger. So those three little owls had to be brave. She'll bring us mice and things that are nice, said Sarah. I suppose so, said Percy. I want my mummy, said Bill. They sat and they thought. All owls think a lot. I think we should all sit on my branch. There's that word again. Who's flapping their ears? Good listeners, because owls are good listeners, aren't they? And look, all three of the little owls are sitting on the one branch together. And they did, all three together. Suppose she got lost, said Sarah. Or a fox got her, said Percy. I want my mummy, said Bill. And the baby owls closed their owl eyes and wished their owl mother would come. Oh, they're being very brave, aren't they? Very brave. And she came. Look at Mummy Owl. Isn't she beautiful? Lovely big wings. And look at her face. She's got a nice flat face so she can hear the noises from the mice and the scurrying animals that she eats. Has she got any food for her babies? Not that we can see. She mustn't have been able to find anything. Perhaps. Soft and silent, she swooped. Oh, who's wagging their ears? Very good to see. We're flapping our ears. We're good listeners, like the owls. Which is our vocab word? They have swooped. She swooped through the trees to Sarah and Percy and Bill. Swoop means you come down, down from a high spot, down to a low spot and up again. So Mummy Owl swooped through the trees. There's a picture of her swooping. Oh, and there they are, the three little owls waiting for her on the branch. Mummy, they cried, and they flapped, and they danced, and they bounced up and down on their branch. Do they look scared anymore? No. What do they look like? They're very happy now, aren't they? What's all the fuss? Their owl mother asked. You knew I would come back. The baby owls thought, all owls think a lot. I knew it, said Sarah. And I knew it, said Percy. I love my mummy, said Bill. They were very brave owls, weren't they? And that's the end of the story. Well, that was a good story, wasn't it? Put up your hand and tell me what you liked about that story. Put up your hand if there's something about this story that you didn't like. Some of us mightn't have liked the thought of being left alone without our mummy or our daddy. That's true. What's something that you learnt from this story? That's good. All right. And what would you do if you were one of those owl babies? Do you think you would have been brave? Or do you think you might have been a bit scared? Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to write a story similar to this owl baby story. I brought my little friend today. This is Owlie, and he's going to help us practice our vocab words by doing them. So I want everybody up. When I say branch, I want you to all pretend you're a branch that Owlie can sit on, like that. When I say woods, I want you to be nice and tall and sway in the wind. When I say brave, I want you to be brave like the three little owls were. I want you to be brave. And when I say swooped, I want you to swoop around the classroom like the mother owl did when she came back to her three little owls. Okay, so let's practice one more time. When I say branch, we're going to be a branch. When I say woods, we're going to be tall trees swaying in the wind. When I say brave, we're going to be nice and brave and cross our arms. And when I say swooped, we're going to open up our arms and swoop around the room. Okay, let's play that game together. Okay, everybody sitting back down and eyes up to me. I'm going to divide my whiteboard into 3 sections. The first section, oops, written the wrong word there, is the beginning. The second section is the middle, and the third section is the end. Right, now I want you to think about the story, Owl Babies, that we just read, and I want you to tell me how the 3 little owls were feeling at the beginning of the story. How were the 3 little owls feeling at the beginning of the story? They were feeling scared. Oops. That's right. Why were the owls feeling scared? Because they couldn't find their mummy. They woke up and mummy was gone. Where was mummy? Mummy was probably hunting for food, although we didn't see her bring any food back. Maybe she'll have to go out again and try and find some food. Now what happened? How were the 3 little owls feeling in the middle of the story? They were feeling brave. Well, they might not have been feeling brave, but they were trying to be brave. How do we know they were trying to be brave? What things did they do to be brave? They huddled together, they closed their eyes, and they thought about good things about mummy. And we can do that too, can't we? We can get help from our friends and our family when we're feeling scared. things when we need to be brave. That's right. Now, at the end of the story, how were they feeling? They were feeling happy. Do you remember when they were jumping up and down when Mummy came back to their tree trunk? They were happy little owls, weren't they? Mummy came back, and even if she didn't have any food for them, they were so happy that she came back. So our story today had a beginning, a middle, and an end. In the beginning, the owls were scared. In the middle, the owls were brave. And at the end, the owls were happy. Okay, we're going to write our own narrative story today. We read about the owl babies today, but you can write about another nocturnal animal because we've been learning about different nocturnal animals in our science lessons. You don't have to write a story about owls. You could choose another nocturnal animal. We spoke about some of them before, like a wombat or a snake or a bat or any other of the other nocturnal animals that we've been learning about, which you can see posted around the classroom. But I want you to write a story about your mummy going away and how you feel. So just like this story, I want your story to also have the time when your mummy might have left you and how you felt about that. I want your story to have a beginning and a middle and an end. Okay? All the stories we're writing today will have a beginning, a middle, and an end, just like this story did. And I want you to tell me how you feel at the beginning when your mummy left you. How you felt in the middle. Were you brave? And at the end, how did you feel when your mummy came back? Now, as I said, you don't have to be an owl. You could be a wombat, and your wombat mummy left you to go out and scurry around for food, or perhaps she was going to build a new burrow for you to live in. You can change some of the little details in the story. You can make up your own story, but I do want it to be about how you felt when you were alone because your mummy or your daddy left for a little while to go and find food or to build a new burrow, whatever you want it to be. So I want you to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Does everybody understand that? Okay. For this writing exercise, after an initial explanation to the class, I would split the children up into 3 working groups. The first working group would be for children who have poor literacy skills or who have English as a second language or have some learning difficulties. I would sit with them, or if I have available a teacher's aide, to sit with these children in particular to go through the activity again, remind them of what's required of them. And the differentiation of that group would be just that they didn't have to write as much, but we would be having different learning goals for that group so that what they achieved was according to their abilities. So they would have to perhaps just write much less. We would go over our vocab words again and get them to reinforce some of those basic skills of writing the vocab. And I would help them start with some sentence starters, give them some more help, more ideas, more structure to their writing time. A second group, which I would call the 2 chilies, that was the 1 chili, the 2 chilies, they would be able to work independently, but I would be a lot more heavily involved in supervising that group, making sure that they can achieve that task with some directed help from me. The third group, who is our 3 chili group, who are quite advanced learners, I would encourage them to actually go and research a little bit more about owls so that when they wrote their story, their creative writing piece, they would be able to include some more interesting facts about owls, and it might just give them some more vocabulary words to use in their stories. I would encourage them to write a longer piece according to their abilities. So that would be my differentiation and my specific help for those who are struggling within my classroom. Just to finish, I was just going to discuss my ability to communicate verbally and non-verbally. I felt that I was able to show the way that I would communicate verbally to a class if it was a real situation by using expressive, articulate, verbal communication. I was trying to show that I would ask lots of questions, that I would be ascertaining their knowledge of the owls, as we had done in a previous lesson, in a science lesson. I was trying to cross the two curriculum priorities so that we could include their science knowledge into our reading and writing lessons by including the nocturnal animals that they had learned about. I was able to assess their previous knowledge of owls so that it could springboard their learning. Even though this was a reading task, it contributed to their learning of owls from science. I was wanting to show that I would include lots of children by asking for feedback and requiring responses from the classroom. I was hoping to have lots of good eye and non-verbal communication by looking at the children regularly and using hand gestures and smiling and encouragement. In terms of keeping their attention, I chose to just use the owl little activity to practice our vocabulary words as another way to reinforce them, and it also provided the opportunity for them just to get up off the floor and get a bit of wiggling and physical activity happening so that they could then regroup and sit for the next instruction period of telling them about their writing task. And then by doing the tasks in other areas of the classroom, whether it be at the 1 chili, 2 chili or 3 chili group, depending on the differentiation groups, that just also provided them an opportunity to move into a new area of the classroom and work more specifically according to their abilities. And so those differentiation groups would hopefully cater for children who have got English as a second language or learning difficulties, so that they could work one-on-one or one in small group with either the teacher aide or the teacher according to what was available, so that they could have different set of goals and they were not required to write as much as children who were a little bit more able in that area. But I also wanted to specifically provide a differentiation category for the advanced learners, requiring them to do a bit more research on owls so that they could make their story a little bit more in-depth and involved. So yes, using the whiteboard. If I was in a normal situation, I would have used the video. I would have most likely have shown them a video of ours as well, just to ignite their curiosity and imagination before we read the book as well. So use of the technology, the props, the whiteboard, and the movement activities would be what I use today.